What's up, guys? Dr. Mo here. So this is the apartment. This is where I'm staying. It's I don't know how many square feet it is. Probably about 45, 50 square meters. So I don't know, maybe like 500, 600 square feet. It's got a little kitchen over there, fridge, oven, lots of cooking stuff. I haven't gone out to a restaurant to eat once while here in Lugo, almost a week. So I'm super happy about that. And then there's like a TV over here, you guys can see it. Big window out there. That's the bedroom. That's the bathroom. That's the main door. And then a huge patio behind me. Actually, I'm standing right in front of the patio so you guys can see my beautiful face. So, all right. Just to get you started, just to get started, I know some of these videos are verbose, and for a lot of you, it's just not the right fit. I totally understand. But it's important to me that I talk through some of this stuff a little bit more, I don't know, in detail, kind of like tease it out, really unwind it, as opposed to just talk about it in like these little cute little YouTube snippets or whatever that's easily digestible. If you don't have the attention span to be here for more than 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's probably not the right content for you. And it's not that there's nothing wrong with you, it's nothing wrong with me. It's just the kind of content I'm creating is for people. I create this stuff so that I can refer people to it. So that if somebody comes to my website and says, hey, Dr. Mo, like I want to do this, like what would you suggest? Check out this video. This is a great video for you to check out. This is exactly why I created it. In fact, a lot of these videos come from the fact that you guys are asking me questions. You guys are sending me questions. You have questions about how to start a telemedicine practice, how to grow this, how to grow that, how to start this business, how to start that business. And that's why I want to create it, because in a way it answers that question. And for some of you, I think for some of you, after maybe a couple of months or a couple of years of following my content, you become one of my clients. You become one of my coaching clients. So it's great. It's great business for me. It's great advertisement for me. Yeah, actually check out that spot right there. That's where I usually sit. This is my laptop. This is my Chromebook Spin 513. It's from Spain, so it's got the Spanish keyboard. I have that little folding keyboard stand. I did a video on it, so you guys can check that out. I did a podcast on it. You can check that out. That's my Bluetooth keyboard, my K380 Bluetooth keyboard, which I travel with. In front of it is actually my cell phone. That's a Pixel 4 cell phone, and that's my the case. You can see it. The little white thing is my case, and then next to it is the mouse, the keyboard, and my cell phone. And it's all I need. It's all I need to travel with. It's all I need to make all my money, all my consulting work, all the other stuff that I do. In fact, yeah, things are going well. Things are going well with the consulting. I'm still making good money on Upwork. I'm making money on Fiverr. Fiverr takes a little bit longer. It's funny, I was on Fiverr 10 years ago, so I have reviews from 10 years ago on Fiverr, but then I kind of picked it back up. I was excited to do it again in some ways. I haven't done much with the data science recently. I think data analytics, I shouldn't say data science. Data science is a whole different beast. I haven't done much with the data analytics, even though I did my Google certificate. I know some of you guys have followed my channel because of that. I still think it's been very powerful. There are plenty of opportunities for me to make money in it, whether I was a physician, I'm a physician, whether I was a physician, a pharmacist, a nurse, an MA, anybody who has some sort of healthcare experience. You're very, very valuable once you have some of this data analytics skills, even to come in as a junior data analyst, to work on some SQL tables, SQL tables, to work with R or Python to do some basic stuff, which, you know, once you know the basics, you can look other stuff up, you can learn that stuff. It's kind of simple. It's kind of like a language in a way. Once you know the basics, once you're at an A2, B1 level, right, you can learn the rest on your own. It's not like, that's it, you're blocked until you take like a super crazy course. So I really still recommend it. I think if you're at all interested in doing anything like data analytics, it's still a wonderful opportunity to make money. It's just that now I'm really excited about this other stuff. And so that's what I want to put my energy into. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about on this platform and on this particular video and in this particular YouTube platform. And I think the more times I think about it, the more times I analyze it, I come up with better ways of maybe explaining it to you guys. So the content I create on here is for physicians. I keep repeating myself. This is for physicians. I write certain articles on my website, which is for physicians. And like I actually delete people who are not physicians. I ask you, if you want to subscribe to my website at digitalnomadphysician.com, what do you do? And some people literally write, I'm an accountant or something like that. Delete, like you're not subscribing to my website. There's a reason for that, because if you're a patient, you don't understand what we go through as physicians. And I think I want you to understand that. I want you to be able to have that deep understanding that is necessary in order for you to really to get it. If you don't, you just come in as a patient and you're upset that like I'm saying these things, that I'm saying this negative stuff about medicine and patients and healthcare, but that's not true. Anyway, so if you're listening to this, I would recommend turn it off if you're not a physician. If you are a physician, you're probably finding yourself in a few of these situations. Either you're very early in your career and you love it and everything I say comes across as I'm just a jaded old bastard, I'm an asshole, I should be shot, and people like me should never hold a medical license. And that's fine. I think as years go by, you'll evolve, you'll grow accustomed into your attending role, and you become more confident being a physician. But now you'll also start missing some of the challenges, and you want to be challenged and you want to learn more and you want to make a bigger difference. And sometimes that's where you find yourself, which is the second group of physicians, where you're seeing the writing on the wall. You're probably recognizing that maybe you're getting a bit burnt out. Maybe things aren't going to look so good in the next 5 years. Like, oh my God, can I do this for another 5 years? Can I do this for another 10 years? How is that possible? Like, this is already so difficult. This is already so hard. If you're finding yourself in that situation, I think that's the best place to be. That is the best place to be, because in those moments, you can start thinking about other opportunities. In these moments, you can start thinking about what else is out there. What else do MDs and DOs do with their medical licenses, with their experience, having gone through medical school, applications, sitting for tests, managing patients, managing medical assistants, working with PAs, working with NPs, all of this stuff, teaching, education. Like, you have so many skills, you have so many little tiny skills. And if you take that for granted, well, yeah, I mean, you're going to just make your life harder. And then I think there is the third group, which is a tough group. You either know it or you don't, but you're really burned out. You are super jaded. You are bitter. You hate medicine. It's really difficult to get through to you. It's really difficult for me to have a conversation with you, because I think you're just coming from a bad place. You're coming from a place where you just don't see a way out. I think you're having a difficult time to see where you've been so intertwined with the identity of being a physician and this burnt out physician, and medicine sucks. And so you can't even, when something nice comes across your path, you can't even see that. You're like, no, this is still shit. I still got to deal with that patient. This is a bad place to be. This is where most of us eventually will find us. Definitely most. Believe it or not, you will find yourself there one day. Chances are, if you're watching my stuff, you're already there. Or you're getting very close to it. But if you find yourself in this third category, it's really difficult. You're going to go back. You're going to regress so much before you can kind of slowly pick back up. And so I highly recommend that if you are feeling anything, you're seeing some writing on the wall, you're having any thoughts or doubts about what you're doing in medicine, this is the time to kind of start thinking about, what could I do? What else could I do with my medical career? So step one, this is the advice that in my coaching, this is what I do. First, I'm going to get to know you. Right? When I do my career coaching, I want to get to know you. I want to know where you're at in life. What do you do? What do you read? What kind of books do you read? What do you do for fun? How do you exercise? Why do you exercise? What's your outlook on life? You know, who do you hang out with? Who are your friends? Who are your colleagues? What's your family support? These ideas, these concepts are things that I've kind of slowly developed to ask and to find out about, because it really matters, because the way you will approach certain problems is going to be very different than someone else. The way you want to approach life, the way you want to live your life is going to be very different from someone else based on these factors that affect you. And then the question is, do you just want to make enough money to get by, just get by under the radar and be okay? Great. You don't have to be in this shitty ass practice working for a large medical group. You can find a really awesome, chill, 10 clinic private group run by a couple of doctors or some investors or whatever. They'll let you just see patients, fly under the radar. You don't have to worry about it. You can even find a cush job at an FQHC. You can find an online job, and I can help you with that. I can help you find those things. Obviously, you can find those things. That's the whole point of all the content that I create is I want to leave a bunch of breadcrumbs for anybody who follows me and says like, oh shit, like the guy got, he had a patient complain, he got 30-day license suspension, and he did this and he did that, and he did consulting, and he had his own auto mechanic shop, and he did all this stuff. Like, I want you to see all that and then see how I put it all together, how I pieced it together. So I want these videos, these podcasts that I create, Digital Nomad Physicians podcast, or the stuff on my blog, Digital Nomad Physician, all of these are breadcrumbs so that you can kind of say what worked, what didn't work, what do I want to emulate, what definitely do I not want to emulate. Don't emulate what I did with the state medical boards. Cooperate. Cooperate and be polite. So that's why I create them. That's why I'm kind of detailed about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're having a difficult time, if for whatever reason you're like, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to create an income stream for myself, being a nomad, being a digital nomad, or being a family person who's locked into one particular zip code, but I want to be able to do telemedicine for different companies. I just want to have enough money so I don't have to worry about it. I never want to go to a clinic again, or I want to piece it together with a bit of clinic and some telemedicine. I'll help you with that. I'll help you with that. I think you can figure that out from all the content that I've created. I started my path way back in 2015 when telemedicine wasn't really telemedicine back then. It was still definitely in its infancy, and it was a good path for me. It happened to be something good, and I have learned that medicine changes kind of quickly, but like it just goes on forever, and then all of a sudden you have this new option. And I think for some of us to jump on some of these new options is important. So for me right now, what's more interesting about maybe opening my own practice, like a physical practice, is to open my own virtual practice, and that's what I'm doing. I have my own private telemedicine practice. The website for it is digitalnomadhealth.com. Before that, I had a different name. I tried some other stuff with VC, capital VSEE, a platform for telemedicine. Didn't work out too good. I tried Atlas MD, was maybe a little bit too built up for me. And now I settled on Acute Health, AKUTE. There's a video on that, how I use it, how the platform works. And I'm really happy with that. I have my patients, I can make good money. The goal is to build it up. The goal is to still figure out a lot of little stuff. There's a lot of nuances. I'm choosing to run my practice without any malpractice. You might think that's stupid. Of course, you're welcome to think that. I'm choosing to run my practice as a sole proprietor. You think that might be stupid to you. I have my reasons. I have really good reasons why I'm doing certain things the way I'm doing it. You have to do what's right for you. And I would never push my ideas on you. And I think one thing that I do with my coaching clients really well is that, look, you can pay me for my coaching, but you're going to have to pay somebody to do this part. You're going to have an attorney review this part. You're going to have somebody you trust. And over the years, I've found some really good attorneys that I work with. People who I trust, they have their own channels, they have their own brand, so they talk about all that stuff themselves. Those are the people I gravitate towards, because if you're giving your information for free, that's a good thing. That's always a good thing, because somebody's going to pay you money to go through it in more detail and customize it for themselves. So that piece of building my own telemedicine practice excites me more. How can I serve people all over the world as a physician who's trained at UCLA, who's trained in the United States, who's a family medicine physician, who's learning a lot about all this other stuff. Right now I'm taking a course in functional nutrition at Functional Nutrition Alliance, and I'm really happy about that because I'm learning certain things that I probably would have never learned, and I didn't learn when I was at UCLA. Not UCLA's fault, it's just not what Western medicine teaches us. So I want to bring that piece into it, and I want to talk about it. So that's the part that takes a lot of time for me to, I think, create good content on digital nomad physicians, and then also create content for digital nomad health has been tough. And guess what? I have a third thing. Well, I have multiple things, obviously, but the third thing where I really need that online presence and where I think you're going to benefit from this kind of online presence is the heart health coaching. The reason I decided on heart health coaching is I already knew that I wanted to do some sort of a health coaching brand. And one of the main reasons I did this functional nutrition course, one of the reasons I did that is, God forbid, something happens, somebody comes to me and says, whoa, Dr. Rishori, what you're doing is actual medicine. This health coaching thing, no. This is, you're entering a patient-doctor relationship. This is not appropriate. You can't do this, you can't do that. HIPAA compliance, protected health information, high tech, whatever. I want to avoid that. And I've taken very, very, very specific steps in order to create this heart health coaching brand under Mohammed Ashori, not Mohammed Ashori MD, where I have clients but not patients, where I am sharing my expertise in the field as a physician, but not telling people what to do, how to do it, etc. And I know that's frustrating and it's nuanced, etc. But guess what? We're great at that. We as physicians have learned how to document the shit out of a visit just to be able to show somebody who comes along and says, oh, you didn't do this, therefore we're going to sue you for that. So we're very good at that. And I'm good at that. And I think, I don't know, I think it works. I think it's a worthwhile practice style. And as I just recorded a podcast episode and I kind of talked about this a little bit, I think having this sort of triangle, this trifecta of, in the middle, it's me, Mohammed Ashori, but it's also me as a physician. For the rest of my life, I'm going to be a physician. Even if they take my medical license away, I'm going to be a physician. I'm a physician. What do you do? I'm a physician. Who are you? I'm a physician, right? There just, I don't know, something about it, something about medicine. I think you just look at life in a different way. So I'm in the middle, and here's a triangle. The top part of the triangle, obviously, is you being a physician, you entering the patient-doctor relationship, seeing someone from the Western medical perspective. You're prescribing them medicine, you're examining them, you're touching them maybe. If it's virtual, you're, I don't know, if it's virtual, you're obviously not doing the exam, but you're probably interpreting labs and imaging studies, you're ordering stuff, you're recommending stuff. It's a very intimate, it's a very, very intimate, that's something that I've learned. It's a very intimate thing to be the doctor to a patient. And I think I'm appreciating that more now that I'm at 44. I'm starting to go to the doctor. I'm going to the doctor for some really fucked up stuff in my arm. I haven't been able to climb for a long time now. And I really appreciated a good doctor. I've always appreciated really good dentists because I'm not the best teeth. I didn't take good care of them before. I'm taking really good care of them now. But I think I know that I appreciate those people, and I know that the right patient will appreciate me. And so building that practice piece is really important. And we take that for granted. We just go work for a company, for UCLA, for some urgent care, for some telemedicine company and think, oh, it'll just be fine. Teladoc will pay me $25, $23 per patient. Who cares? I'll just do it. But we don't understand that by doing that and doing more of that, you actually are burning yourself out. You actually are like hating medicine. You're hating this part of the triangle, this top part of the triangle. So here's the top part. And then there's these two other pieces. To me, one of these other pieces is the knowledge that you have. And I think the knowledge that you have is way more than you think, way more than you think. And there are always people seeking out your knowledge and who would be willing to pay you for your knowledge. And sometimes you, even more, you find a niche in your knowledge base as a physician. For example, if you're a specialist, if you're a rheumatologist, oncologist, orthopedist, gastroenterologist, or allergist, you have a lot of information that other people don't have. Maybe you're not using it on a day-to-day in your practice, but you have a lot of knowledge and you have access to researching that stuff. I'm learning how difficult it is to find information about specialties. Jesus Christ, I didn't know it's that hard. Now that I'm researching for my own telemedicine practice, for my own medical conditions, that stuff is just not that easy to find. That expertise that you have, that sixth sense that you have is knowledge and is niche and is worth a lot of money. But maybe you ran your own practice in the past. Maybe you did a lot of billing in the past. Maybe you did practice management software. Maybe you know how to run a private practice. That's more niche. Maybe you know how to deal with Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, mother, baby, whatever. What is that one called? The other part of CMS. Anyway, so that's the more niche you get, the more expertise you have in a particular thing, you can really, really sell that information for a lot of money. And I think that's that third piece. Because it's now when you have this triangle, we'll get to this piece in a minute, you become so much more resilient and you certainly understand and appreciate yourself more, and you realize that it's harder for you to ever lose your income. You become less fearful. And I think, in my opinion, you practice from a place of just being more, I don't know, resilient. You're more resilient, more confident, and you're gonna push yourself in the right direction. And you're gonna realize, like, if you have this piece where you're doing patient care and you have this piece where you're doing consulting and you realize this is really shitty, I really don't like this. You crank up this dial on the consulting and then you realize I can crank down the dial on these patients I don't like, but maybe I'll see other patients that I like more, or I'll charge more money, and all of a sudden this gets cranked up by itself. And it's a good triangle. It's a good triangle to live in. It's good to be in the center of that. The third part of the triangle to me is, what is it? Is coaching. So it's different than consulting, because consulting, you're B2B, you're business to business. You're selling your information to another entrepreneur, to another consulting company, to somebody else who wants to build a product or improve a product or build a service or create a service or technology device. In this other piece, you're coaching, you're taking your knowledge as a physician, as a health practitioner. I mean, look at me, I'm skinny as shit, I work out, I eat as healthy as I can, I research all this stuff, I read all these books, I practice on myself, I try a vegan diet, I try a carnivore diet, I try a keto diet, I do resistance training, I do cardio training, not all the time, I try these different things on myself, I experiment, so I know what things kind of work on who, on how, and I can experiment on myself to figure out, is this really something I can give my patient? Is this something? So like what I'm trying to say, I have so much knowledge when it comes to the aspect of health and healthcare and health products. I can go to any country, go to their hospital system, go to any clinic and tell you whether it's a piece of shit, it's good, it's bad, it's worthwhile or not. I have that knowledge because I'm a physician, because I have all this experience, but I don't want to be relegated. I don't want to be boxed into doing this only under a medical license. I don't want that. What if somebody wants to take my medical license away? What if somebody sues me? What if somebody says sexual harassment? What if somebody says you embezzled money? What if somebody says, whatever the fuck shit they want to say, and I lose my medical license? That would suck, right? I couldn't be up here anymore. I still could do this, that's good, but now I feel really boxed in. But I have this third piece. I have this third piece where Mohammed Ashori, not MD, Mohammed Ashori, can still tell people, hey, you got adhesive capsulitis, probably a good time to start thinking about inflammation and blood sugar control and range of motion. You got IBS, probably good time to start thinking about this dietary change. You're worried about colon cancer risk, let's talk about your diet, let's talk about this. That's the health coaching. And for me, the health coaching has to be niche. I think in general, all these knobs need to be niche. Not always, but I think in general, like for me, my telemedicine practice is everything. I do pediatrics, OBGYN, well, obviously not OB, but kind of OB, like somebody has vaginal discharge during their pregnancy or UTI. I do everything. I do geriatric, 90-year-olds, pediatric, 2-month-old. That's my telemedicine practice, right? I will cater to all those patients, but I run it the way I want to run it. I charge more money and I do 1 hour with each patient, 30 minutes to 1 hour with each patient, depending on what I sell. And it's easy to advertise that, guys. It's easy to open up that funnel. In the consulting space, everything goes. Obviously, I've done a lot of stuff with healthcare startups, so I have a good amount of information as to who I want to work with. In the health coaching space, I want to focus on heart health. I want to focus on heart health because I find that the top killers is going to be cancer, right? It's going to be cardiovascular disease and I don't know, maybe complications from medications, maybe infections, maybe stroke. What are the other top 3 killers? I have no idea. But the ones that interest me, the ones that I would be fascinated about would be cancer, would be cardiovascular health. And I like cardiovascular health because I can incorporate a lot of stuff into that, right? I can do preventative education for a patient. I could have somebody who already has congestive heart failure, has cardiomyopathy, they have coronary artery disease, they have atrial fibrillation, they have, whatever. And so I can work with that. So there's a lot that can go in there. And I can dial that down further in the next few decades, in the next few years. I'm 44, we'll see how many more years I have. But in the next few years, I might become really good at arrhythmia. I might become really good at coronary artery disease. So I'm gonna focus more on that. And I'm gonna try to learn as much as possible. And in that space, I can do a lot. In the recent podcast episode that I recorded, I talked about that. I can sell courses to these individuals. I can do group sessions. I can do guided stuff, guided group sessions. I can sell to people abroad, right? Heart health coaching. I don't have to just do it to patients in the US because it's not patients, it's clients. I can give nutritional information in the state of California without being a licensed dietitian. These are important things. These are powerful things. So I guess, I don't know. I don't know where you guys are at. In each one of you is in a different place in your life. And I know it can be difficult. Sometimes I had some really dark moments, definitely in my medical career, definitely in my medical education. For sure, when I got my 30-day license suspension from Oregon, it's still something that haunts me quite a lot to this day. But I think that resilience piece that we build is not just important for ourselves, I think, but it's also important for patients. And the reason I say it's important for patients is because I used to sort of hate medicine, especially after the medical board investigation, getting my license suspended for 30 days, all the nasty shit they wrote about me, most of which to me are lies, but that's my opinion. I think that dark place that I found myself in made me maybe think of patients as like, they were a hindrance to me. They were like blocking me, they were keeping me from just earning my money and doing what I want to do. And now I don't look at it that way. Now I'm like, how can I really bring value? Like, am I really bringing a value to someone? If I'm on a phone call with a patient and I'm just giving him like a little antibiotic for a UTI, am I really giving him a lot of value for that, even that 20, 30, 50, 40, 50 bucks, whatever they spend on me? Because if they're just going to get another UTI and have to come back to me for another antibiotic, that's not value, right? And so when you put yourself in that situation where you're getting recurrent UTIs and you really want somebody to care and listen and give you good information, I think that empathy comes from a place where you finally feel safe and secure. And I think when you have these little 3 spots covered, you can finally feel like you can do that. So that's it. I talked a lot. All right. If you guys have any questions, if you want to work with me individually, drmo at digitalnomadphysician.com. I'll leave a bunch of links and stuff in the video description. Tell me what you guys think of Lugo. You didn't really see Lugo, but you saw my apartment, right? Take a look at Lugo, L-U-G-O, Spain. Just gorgeous, gorgeous little downtown, guys. I think I would highly recommend. Forget Sevilla, forget Barcelona, forget Madrid. No, Madrid is really cool, actually. But go check out Gijón, go check out Lugo, go check out Santiago, Vigo. These are gorgeous cities. Anyway, guys, that's it. Take